Hi friends, how are you guys today? I hope you are having an amazing day so far. If you are not having an amazing day, I really hope that your day gets better from here on out. So my name is Shanda and welcome to my channel, you guys. I want to start this video off like every other video and let you guys know that I am so happy that you clicked on this video. Thank you so much. I really hope that you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, I hope you at least give it a chance. But if you guys are returning to my channel, thank you so much for returning to my channel. It really means a lot to me and I really appreciate it. So, a brand new motion was just filed on Britney Spears' behalf by her lawyer Matthew Rosengart, of course. It was just filed. I was able to get it. It's about 9 pages long, so it shouldn't take too long. I hope not, but let's go ahead and sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Alright guys, this is my first time reading this motion as well. I have not read it at all yet, so let's go ahead and read it together. Here's the first page right here, and it says, Conservatee Britney Spears supplemental petition for suspension and removal of James P. Spears as conservator of the estate pursuant to probate code section 2650J. Alright, introduction, here we go. Britney Spears established in her July 26, 2021, verified petition for suspension and removal of James P. Spears, the petition that Mr. Spears' suspension and removal were mandated under Probate Code Section 2650J because, as a matter of law, this relief is in the best interests of Miss Spears. Separately, this relief is also in the interest of justice. As the petition also demonstrates, Section 2650J does not require Mr. Spears to admit fault or wrongdoing. Rather, although Mr. Spears has, for more than a decade, evidently engaged in abusive and bullying conduct while also elevating his own personal and financial interests above those of his daughter, these issues of misconduct are not, at this time, on this petition before the court. The only question before the court, which has unfortunately been lost for years, is whether James' prompt suspension and removal are in the best interests of Britney Spears. Based upon the forceful and compelling June 23rd and July 14th, 2021 testimonies of Britney herself, the sworn declaration of conservator of the person, Jody Montgomery, which includes her testimony that, quote, I have had numerous ongoing conversations with the medical team, and we all agree that it would be best for Britney's well-being and mental health that her father stopped acting as conservator. That is my strong opinion and recommendation that the persons serving as Britney's conservators not be family members, and that Jamie's removal is critical to Britney's emotional health and well-being and in the best interest of the conservatee. The verified joiner of Miss Montgomery, the declaration and verified joiner of interested party Lynn Spears, and the fact that Britney will not work or perform unless and until Jamie is removed, thereby depriving the estate of income, even as Jamie and others are perversely being enriched from it. The unequivocal answer is yes. So I love that right there. He is literally saying, all of this stuff aside, the code right here says what is best for Britney, what is in Britney's best interest. Is it best for Jamie to go now? Yes. We're not even pulling out all his wrongdoings right now, but he has perversely enriched himself with her money, even though she is on a work hiatus and says she will not work until he's gone. He is still collecting all this money from her, so it is hurting the estate. This conclusion, which we respectfully submit is now clearly inexorable, is further supported by fundamental principles of law that were completely ignored by Mr. Spears and his attorney. In their response, mandating Mr. Spears' suspension and removal, embedded within the statute framework are consistent admonitions that the conservator must always act in the best interest of the conservatee. See also hashtag Free Britney and the look at how California conservatees may challenge their conservators. And that was published August 30th, 2020. The overarching theme of Section 2650 is to ensure that the conservator prioritizes the interests of the conservatee, which he's never done, in my opinion. He's never done that. A review of whether the conservatee should continue to pay the attorney fees of feuding parties. Exactly. The purpose of the conservatorship is to fight to protect the conservatee's interest rather than to gain control over the conservatee. So a conservatorship is, of course, supposed to protect the conservatee and their interest and their finances. It is not to try to take over control and bleed them dry. Further, as the Judicial Council's Handbook for Conservators provides, the position of conservator is one of great trust and responsibility. The court and the conservatee are trusting you to follow the law and to act in the conservatee's best interest. I love that. It's in bold print and everything. Like, listen, Penny, the court is trusting you to do the right thing and to follow the law. You should make choices that are in the conservatee's best interest. Woo! In short, as this court so amply stated during the July 14, 2021 hearing, in reference the need to focus on the interests of Britney Spears, it's not about anybody else. It's about her. That's what they said in the court transcripts on July 14th. They said it's not about anyone else, it's about Britney. Well, then do what's best for Britney. Jamie should heed those words. I agree. Against this backdrop, Jamie and his counsel's August 12, 2021 first response is shameful. Although Jamie concedes that a, quote, battle with his daughter over his continuing service would not be in her best interests, thereby effectively acknowledging that his departure must be imminent. So, okay, he acknowledges that his departure obviously must be imminent. She doesn't want him there, and he said that it's not good to be battling with his daughter. So, okay, then go. Mr. Spears spends the overwhelming majority of his brief engaging in inappropriate attacks and finger pointing. That's exactly what he did. In trying to defend himself, he also looks back 13 years, improperly discussing his daughter's mental health issues, end quote, while outrageously suggesting he should be, quote, thanked. Jesus. He's such a monster, you guys. The thrust of his response is that although he expressly recognizes that a, quote, public battle regarding his departure would be not in Britney's best interest, and for that reason, he even intends to support an orderly transition. His idea of orderly is to hang on until someone first brands him Father of the Year. Oh my God, I love that. And award him a gold star for his, quote, service. In other words, although Jamie has at last been forced to recognize that it is best for his daughter if he departs now, he claims the right to drag his feet because it is best for him to cling to this conservatorship until he feels sufficiently vindicated. Oh my God. He is just smashing him right now. I really hope that he reads this and is fuming because he knows it's true. Jamie and his counsel's first response is also based upon a complete misunderstanding of the law because his prior service as conservator is legally irrelevant under Section 2650J's best interest test. Moreover, by once again elevating his interest over his daughter, it also demonstrates why Jamie must resign or be suspended no later than September 29th, 2021. Additionally, the first response supports Britney's position that any legal fees incurred by Jamie in connection with that response or any future response should not come from Britney's estate. Boom. Thank you. I hate how Jamie just keeps fighting her and arguing with her. That's obviously not in her best interest, and he acknowledges that, but he keeps fighting with her and trying to cling to this conservatorship, but he still wants her to pay all his legal fees. Like, no, dude. If you're going to fight with her and do what she doesn't want, you need to pay for that shit yourself. Conservators' attorneys' fees to oppose petitions for removal incurred to defend conservators' character and reputation were not payable from the conservatee's estate. Yes, woohoo. Further and critically, while Jamie professes his purported love and support of his daughter, even as he stripped her of her autonomy and dignity and engaged in abusive conduct towards her, his first response reveals his true motivations: to receive or make large monetary payments under the pending 12th account, quote, because remember he said that he would step back after the thing with the pending 12th account was resolved. So I love how he put that in there. As a quid pro quo, including, and we got some bullet notes here, payment to Jamie from Britney for working with his lawyers to address public media and social media attention, such as reading major television and news articles, social media posts, global media inquiries, and documentary films. Number 2, payment to Jamie from Britney for continuing to do my best to keep current regarding the music, advertising, and entertainment business. Then we have compensation from Britney of $1,356,293 in attorney's fees. Oh my God. To Hall & Knight from October 17th, 2020 to June 30th, 2021, including and exorbitant and obviously unacceptable $541,065.50 for, quote, media matters. Supplemental declaration of Vivian L. Thoreen, of course, July 12th, 2021. And the last one here is payment to TriStar Sports and Entertainment from Britney of an exorbitant post-hiatus of $500,000. Yeah, that is just insane, you guys. Alright, guys, this is page 6. Further, although Jamie's counsel purport to chastise Britney's current counsel for supposedly failing to recognize that they and Britney's prior counsel, Samuel Ingham, were in negotiations, they neglect to mention that those, quote, negotiations were unacceptable and unsuccessful. So remember when Jamie filed his first response to them trying to get him out of here immediately. They said that Britney's attorney, Matthew Rosengart, they're like, well, he didn't even realize that we were in negotiations already with Samuel Ingham to get Jamie out of there. So, blah, 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 he should have realized. But remember I said in that video, I was like, well, I didn't hear anything about that. It's funny how no one has ever heard anything about that, and it's never been in any documentation. So, yeah, okay. But he is saying, now Matthew Rosengart is saying that they were trying to chastise him by him failing to recognize this, but it doesn't matter because those negotiations that they were talking about were unacceptable and unsuccessful anyway. And yeah, he's right. Regardless of the past, Jamie and his counsel are now on notice. The status quo is no longer tolerable, and Britney Spears will not be extorted. Jamie's blatant attempts to barter suspension and removal in exchange for approximately $2 million in payments, on top of the millions he already reaped from Britney's estate by Jamie and his associates, is a non-starter. Yes, because he wanted this big payout, like, okay, I'll leave, but I want you to give me $2 million. Like, dude, you've already made millions off of her. Leave her alone. Greedy. Like, he's just got blood money all over him. He makes me sick. Finally, contrary to the powers that Mr. Spears and his counsel seek to arrogate unto themselves, they do not get to choose the time and place of Jamie's departure. Those issues are governed by law, the best interests of Britney, and by this court. Bam. Yes. You don't get to choose when and if you leave and what your conditions will be. You want $2 million. Like, no. Get the hell out of here, dude. And contrary to the first response's claims that there are supposedly, quote, no urgent circumstances warranting Jamie's immediate suspension, that too is false. The world heard Britney's courageous and compelling testimony. Britney Spears' life matters. Her well-being matters. Every day matters. There is no basis to wait. Yes, thank you. Okay, let's continue. In short, Mr. Spears' so-called first response is best characterized as a concession that he must resign, coupled with the independently removable offense of failing to resign until the time and conditions are, quote, right for him, no matter the toll it exacts on his daughter. Having finally acknowledged that his time as a conservator should end, Jamie is obligated to step down without condition and without seeking to exact anything further from his daughter. Indeed, Mr. Spears should resign now, and if he does not, the court must suspend him on September 29th. Mr. Spears' first response itself further demonstrates why his immediate suspension and subsequent removal are necessary and proper under Probate Code Section 2550J. First, and perhaps most notably for purposes of the pending petition, Jamie's response concedes that, quote, much has changed since the conservatorship was implemented in 2008, and that he will, quote, cooperate in the transition to a new conservator, end quote. Yeah. He should have stopped there. Instead, he seeks to extract an improper quid pro quo of preconditions. This result will also be a major step towards Britney's path to a fuller and far more rewarding life. to his exit, which have absolutely nothing to do with Britney's needs or best interests. In other words, although Jamie concedes that stepping down is the right thing to do, he is again trying to put his interests and those of others ahead of the interests of his own daughter. Again. Second, Jamie's response is a shameful attempt to redeem his reputation at his daughter's expense. The issue, however, is not about his needs or his image. This would be true in any case, but it is particularly true in the context of the pending petition, which is based solely and exclusively on Section 2650J, the probate code's discretionary catch-all provision warranting suspension and removal where that relief, quote, is in the best interest of the conservatee. Number 16. Specifically, while Mr. Spears claims to understand that, quote, a public battle with his daughter over his continuing service as her conservator would not be in her best interest, end quote, his actions speak far louder. Far from extending an olive branch, Jamie's first response is riddled with allegations that are false, stale, have no bearing on current circumstances, and serve no purpose other than hoping to rehabilitate his image while harming Britney. Yes. Thank you. Yes. Jamie has become so blinded by his own legally irrelevant desires for redemption that, notwithstanding the stringent restrictions of HIPAA, he has gone so far in his filing as to discuss alleged details of Britney's mental state under the guise of countering Lynn Spears' declaration. For example, Jamie levies allegations of Britney's, quote, issues, makes gratuitous comments on amounts spent on Britney's medical care, questions whether Britney understands or remembers what has been done to her, and makes other inapt claims while also attacking conservator of the person Jody Montgomery. Not only are Jamie's self-serving contentions irrelevant to this petition, they are a quintessential indicator of an unhealthy conservator-conservatee and conservator-conservator relationship. Exactly. He's fighting with the conservatee, he's fighting with the other conservator. It's not healthy, and it's not good for Britney, no matter what he's done, which can no longer be sustained. Indeed, any words in Jamie's first response other than, quote, I recognize it is in Britney's best interest that I resign, and I hereby do so, end quote, are unnecessary. That's awesome. Although, little footnote here, although subject to our ongoing investigation, the other factors under 2650, gross immorality and failure to use ordinary care, are not presently before the court, and they have no impact on the September 29th hearing date, at which time Jamie must at very least be suspended. So he also pointed out that while Jamie is trying to make himself look better and argue with other people, he violated HIPAA and told about Britney's medical care. Like, he's an idiot, in my opinion. And it sounds like his lawyers are not worth $1,000 an hour. I'm just saying. Because that was a dumbass mistake. Excuse me. Moving on. Damaging and further indicator of his unfitness to serve, if Jamie truly feels he is, quote, target of unjustified attacks, he can bring them to an end by doing the gracious right and necessary thing by resigning without attempting to extort conditions on his departure. Relatedly, there is no reason that his requested transition cannot occur after Jamie's resignation of suspension. True. Third, Jamie's response is also illustrative of why, consistent with his departure, the time has come to chart a course of Britney's freedom. Woo! Jamie's observations about his daughter in his purported, quote, defense actually demonstrates that Britney is perfectly capable of giving an accurate opinion as to whether Jamie should remain in his post. Exactly. For example, Jamie notes that Britney has maintained her career while recording and performing worldwide, understands her personal obligations, has not been coerced to do anything, is strong, and stands up for herself. These truths are not reason to laud Jamie, they are reason to honor Britney and honor Britney's request to be released from under the thumb of her father. Yeah. Not even Jamie denies that this conservatorship, in fact, exhausting and terrifying to Britney. He accepts this as fact and dismisses her experiences as, quote, the reality of being, quote, under a conservatorship. But exhaustion and terror are not the goals of a conservatorship. A state-imposed mechanism that should be at a last resort. Jamie distorted views of a functional conservatorship further supports his suspension and removal. The fact that Jamie views his daughter's own experiences as a necessary evil of a conservatorship shows exactly how far off the rails this conservatorship has gone insofar as he is concerned. Boom. Boom. You guys, boom. Finally, it is again worth mentioning that Jamie spends 7 pages of his response airing grievances with Lynn Spears in a needless but mean-spirited sideshow. Lynn Spears does indeed support Jamie's suspension and removal, but the petition must be granted regardless of her views. As the petition made abundantly clear, it is Jamie's independent adverse impact on his daughter's life, well-being, and best interests that requires the petition to be granted. That Jamie would use this solemn, okay, my bad, guys, occasion to pick one more fight with his ex-wife, the mother of his daughter, speaks volumes. I just spit everywhere. Sorry, guys. All right, next page. Mr. Spears requested preconditions to resignation are self-interested and constitute an unacceptable and extortionate quid pro quo. Lest there be any confusion about the certain, quote, matters Jamie wishes to resolve before his departure, his first response indicated that his voluntary resignation will be contingent upon, at the least, approval of his latest accounting, including attorney's fees he has incurred, and a substantial payment from Britney's estate to certain third parties, including TriStar Sports and Entertainment Group, which of course means Lou Taylor. Wonder why he's still paying her. One can certainly theorize why Jamie wants to ensure payment to certain third parties while he perceives he still has leverage to extract concessions. But The reasons for his audacious desire to divert conservatorship assets to himself and others are at this time besides the point. It's at this time besides the point. But if we have to, we'll dig into that. When it comes to the petition, all that matters is a single central fact that is undisputed even by Jamie. His resignation or immediate suspension if he fails to resign is in Britney's best interest. Given the above, Jamie has no right to condition his departure on improper and extortionate demands for payment or blanket immunity. Instead, the only honorable, decent, and humane course of action is for Jamie to resign now. Provide all necessary information to evaluate his accounting, and if matters cannot be resolved consensually, to try to defend his accounting. Once again, however, and importantly, that defense is for a later day and a different proceeding. And Jamie's effort to confuse and conflate these issues and extract a quid pro quo must be rejected. Conclusion. If ever there were any doubt as to whether Jamie must be summarily suspended and then removed, and there should have been no such doubt, Jamie's faithless and misguided first response puts them to rest. It is now self-evident that Jamie is so myopically focused on his own interests that even as he is, in effect, uttering the words, "You can't fire me, I resign," end quote, he cannot help but contemplate and promote the next best step for himself. Wow. Crush. Britney already has provided the court with many examples of Jamie's bullying and efforts to strip her of certain fundamental rights, as well as the harm his service has had on her well-being. For these reasons and those set forth herein and in the pending petition, Britney renews her request for the relief contained in the petition, including immediate suspension. A quote, transition can just as easily occur while Jamie is suspended, as opposed to while he lingers as conservator waiting for his inevitable removal. The only difference is that the former is in his daughter's best interest, while the latter severely undermines those interests. For now, before Jamie engages in further attacks on his daughter, once again discusses his purported views of her mental state, or files another, quote, response, that would only serve to demonstrate his lack of sensitivity and fidelity, while also bolstering the petition and providing further evidence that he, not the estate, will be liable for his attorney's fees. Yeah. Although his departure is a foregone conclusion, Jamie should simply agree to resign immediately. Under the circumstances, that would be legally correct, decent, and a graceful thing to do. Woo! Here is the last page. This is just the closing of it. And wow, you guys, he really smashed Jamie in that. And I am so happy that he included the stuff that he included and put in bold print right there earlier where he was like, it's up to you. We're trusting you, Judge Brenda Penny, to do the right thing that is the law. So that was amazing as well. I love it. One other thing I also wanted to include that USA Today, I believe, also did a filed a motion that they want the media request to order restore remote audio and access programming. So the media is requesting that they are allowed to have remote audio and hear what is going on in the courtroom, because last time when it leaked and everybody heard Britney's testimony, the entire LA courts like cut that off, and they're requesting that they get it back because it's their First Amendment right or whatever. But I didn't get the whole motion. That's just letting you know that happened as well. But let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments down below. This is an awesome motion. I am very excited for this hearing. I hope they kick his ass to the curb, because he is just lingering like a freaking leech, and he doesn't deserve another $2 million. That's that. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments as well. And that's everything. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up. It will really help, and I would appreciate it so much. If you guys are not subscribed to my channel, please do so. You know you want to. I would love to have you guys in the family. I try to keep you guys up to date with all of the gossip and news that I can. And I also do vocal covers as well if you like metal music, but you know, it's not everybody's cup of tea. That's okay. But other than that, you guys, thank you guys so much for being here. And in a world where you can be anything, you guys, please be kind to each other. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.